You have heard of Nachiketa, the story of Nachiketa? Yes? Huh? A bit we will go into it. He arrived at self-knowledge. How did he arrive at self-knowledge? He was a young lad, a young boy of maybe 10 years, 10 years, but he asked some very profound fundamental questions about life. His father was conducting a yajna. Vajashravas was the father's name. He was a rishi. And in that yajna, he was, after the completion of the yajna, they give out dakshina. You see, they give out gifts to Brahmins. So the father gave out cows. And Nachiketa is standing there watching his father give out gifts to Brahmins. But he noticed that the cows he is giving out are old. They are incapable of yielding milk. Some of them are deceased. So then how can he give out such gifts? And the boy became very serious. He thought, well, my father is giving out gifts which people can't use. So is this the right thing to do? It's beautifully described in the Upanishad. Shraddha vivesha. Shraddha means astikya buddhi. A sense of positive affirmation about something. How can my father do this? This is the doubt that came into the young boy. And so he went straight and asked his father. The question he put is, since you are giving such gifts, to whom will you give me? And the father was shocked at this question. So immediately he answered, you asked me such a question. I will give you to Yama, the god of death. So it was just an utterance from the father, but the story goes that the son took it very seriously and he proceeded to the abode of Yama, the god of death. Which means what? He went to ask his fundamental questions to the Lord of Death himself. And the story goes that he waited at the gates of Yama, the god who would explain to him the mystery of life. He waited there for 3 days because Yama was not there in Yamlok. And he was on one of his rounds, maybe collecting souls. So anyway, this child waited, and when Yama came back, he was very perturbed. He thought that I have made a Brahmin wait for 3 days without food and water and without welcoming him. So he told Nachiketa, this is a wrong I have done because you are a very highly qualified Brahmin. Ask 3 boons from me. And then Nachiketa, look at the kind of boons he asks. First thing he asks is, let his father be able to accept him when he goes back. Because going back from Yamalok is like coming back from death. So see that my father gets his peace of mind, is happy to receive me back. This is what he asked for. Secondly, he asks about a sacrifice, which is called Nachiketa sacrifice. We won't go into that. But the third boon he asked is very pertinent to us because it concerns self-knowledge, our topic of discussion. He asked for Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye astiti eke nayam astiti chaike etad vidya anushishtastvayaham varanamesha varastritiya, he says. Which means I am asking for the knowledge beyond death. When a man dies, some say he persists, he exists still. Some say he is no more. What is the reality about this? What is the truth about this? What happens when a man dies? Does he continue to exist? Or that is the end of life? That is the end of existence. Now Yama was so stunned at this question that he tried to tempt Nachiketa with a number of things in order to draw his mind away from this knowledge. He said, why do you ask this very serious question? Even the gods like Indra, Varuna, all these gods, they have not been able to penetrate, get this knowledge firsthand, fully. So ask for something else. I am prepared to give you all sorts of gifts, all sorts of boons. Shata Yusha Putra Pautran Vrinishva Bahun Pashun Hasti Hiranyam Ashvan Bhumer Mahadayatanam Vrinishva. And ask to live for as long as you want. Ask to inherit this earth. Ask to become a king. Ask for wealth. Ask for horses. Ask for beautiful women. I will give you all these. But don't ask for this knowledge, because it is not easy to get this knowledge. But you know Nachiketa's answer to this, he said, only this knowledge I want. See, this is the determination required to penetrate into self-knowledge, because you are trying to find the very crux of human identity. It requires a certain amount of discipline of this system. If you want the experience firsthand, You must discipline this system. So he tells Yama, I am prepared for whatever it takes to get this knowledge, and what you are luring me with all these temptations, Sarvendriyanam Jarayanti Teja. Look at the discrimination of this young boy. He says, the other things which you are offering me, they will only take away my energies. They will take away this vibrancy of my mind. I don't want them. I know how much happiness they give me. So you see the mettle of Nachiketa. So this is basic to self-knowledge, this stern sense of discrimination, analysis, understanding the nature of life, what it has to offer us, and then wanting to penetrate into the very heart of this knowledge. Without this discrimination, you cannot penetrate into this knowledge. So once Nachiketa demanded this knowledge alone, then Yama in so many, you see the Kathopanishad is a conversation between, it's actually a monologue from this point, between Yama and Nachiketa, and Yama gives this knowledge to Nachiketa, self-knowledge, and a whole number of ideas which are very useful to us also. So I will primarily not go into those ideas, like you have the beautiful distinction between Shreyas and Preyas in the Kathopanishad. What is good, Shreyaskar, and what is Preyaskar, what is merely pleasant. This is a very sharp distinction, characteristic of our culture. All that shines is not gold. All that is merely pleasant is not good for you. Pleasure is different, the good, Shreyaskar, is something different. So this distinctions like these, discriminations like these, and an analysis of the human experience, what the human experience is meant for, all this is very beautifully laid out in the Kathopanishad, in this monologue between Yama and Nachiketa. But the primary thing which you have asked for, self-knowledge, how to get it, that is a very beautiful thing in the Upanishads. You see, this is the heart, the actual knowledge of the Upanishad. Since you are so interested in it, let us go directly into it. What are you asking for in self-knowledge? Tell me. You are asking for the knower. You are not asking for the known. You get knowledge of objects through your senses, and it is processed and interpreted by your mind. This is how you get knowledge of the objective world, isn't it? Through your senses and then through your mind. But how will you have self-knowledge? The self is behind the mind. It is not an object for your senses to see. It is not in front of you. If it was an object in front of you, you could have absorbed it through the senses, interpreted it through a process of your mind. The self is not available like that. It is behind your mind. It is that due to which your mind is functioning. Do you get this point? Because you are conscious, you have a conscious thinking process. Your mind is functioning because of consciousness, isn't it? Now, how will you get the knowledge of consciousness then? So you have to turn the mind itself inward. That is why the very method for self-knowledge is Pratyak Chetana, turning the mind inward, turning your consciousness inward. This is the basic method to get self-knowledge. It is not available to the outward movement of the senses, nor the outward movement of the mind. So the very theory of perception changes when you come to self-knowledge.